Hello everybody and welcome back to the United Stand on the Fan Forum. We're going to Wembley again in the semi-finals against Brighton, if you didn't know already. Manchester United somehow ended up winning that game 3-1. A lot of conflict, a lot to get into today. And we've got new people on the panel again. Well, a new person, as in Usman. You've been on it before, but, you know, switching it round. So Usman's on with Faz and Ricky. I'll get started with you, Faz, as I always do, on my left-hand side. First of all, just kind of sum up that game from the first half to the second half.
Solution FC. That's where we are. We have a problem. We find a solution. Make it hard. It takes us time to figure out the task in hand, but eventually we get there, and that's what happened again. I remember saying Solution FC before the Liverpool game, if you remember.
Yeah.
And then ever since the Liverpool game, I've been on the back foot. But yeah, it's typical Man United this season, isn't it? Struggling at times in the first half, and then come second half we just start going up gears and other teams start going down gears. That's what happens.
Exactly. I want to pre-warn everyone as well. I've had a lot of comments coming to me. I will be getting into Ricky about the McTominay Casemiro thing. I will be getting into it. We're saving it for a little bit later in the show, but stay tuned because he's getting it today. I mean, Usman, Faz just said then Solution FC. For me, I thought Fulham threw the game away. Like, the manager started it off by stupidly getting sent off. He's fiery Marco Silva, isn't it? But I think then the players followed in his footsteps, and the manager's there getting sent off, you know, acting like that. The players are going to follow what the manager does, and Mitrovic, he's a brilliant player. How you can act like that towards a referee, you just can't do it. You're going to get a straight red, the red card for the handball. Fulham fans complaining. He basically saves the goal with his hand. He acts like a goalkeeper. It's going to happen, isn't it?
Wow, there's a lot to unpack there. First things first, shout out to my work colleague who's a Fulham fan. I know you're watching this, mate, so you can enjoy that one. Listen, look, obviously Fulham threw the game away. I mean, obviously Faz says Solutions FC. Yeah. I'm going to call it shambolic FC. I'm going to be quite frankly honest with you. I thought we were absolutely atrocious. I can't believe you started the show saying we're going to Wembley because that performance did not warrant it whatsoever.
Got to be positive, wasn't it?
Listen, I'm going to keep it real today. Everyone, you know, I'm sure I've got two fantastic guests next to me that are going to be positive. But look, for me personally, at the end of the day, it's a cup competition. You have to obviously get through to the next stage. That's the most important thing. But we have to start asking questions about this team. Yes, people can make excuses, say we're fatigued. You know, people are going to obviously say, you know, we probably warranted the W at the end. But for me personally, there's too many issues, which I'm sure we're going to get into. But yeah, as you correctly said, Fulham definitely handed us that victory, literally, excuse the pun intended. But yeah, for me, I got to give shout out to Sancho. I mean, I'm a big Sancho fan, so people might call me biased, but people need to respect the composure that he's just shown there. I mean, he's not a player in form. You know, he's been a bit part player in terms of minutes, and he's gone around the keeper. A lot of people would have panicked, hit it with first foot, obviously left foot, potentially, you know, under hit it, whatnot. He's shown the composure.
He didn't hit it with his left foot.
No, but I'm saying some other people would have went around the keeper, hit it straight away. He's shown the composure, steadied himself, and then obviously shot, got the player sent off, and obviously got the pen. So yeah, for me, Sancho deserves a lot of credit. But as you said, Fulham shambles from their perspective.
Yeah, honestly, I thought Fulham were the better team. Ricky always says you don't know what's going to happen, you know. But I genuinely, when they scored, about I think 60th minute in the second half, I turned to who I sit next to and I said, "We're not winning this game. We're not winning it." I just couldn't see it happening.
What happened to positivity?
I'm usually I just could not see us scoring. Fulham were all over us. We were sloppy as anything. I couldn't think of any players that were really standing out. I mean, Bruno in the second half was brilliant. But, I mean, obviously, De Gea was amazing. So, yeah.
I was waiting for you to get that in.
But I couldn't think of it, and I was like, I think this is it. I think we're out now. I think we're going to go out. I thought it's going to take something special for us to manage to, first of all, equalise, but then go on and win this game. Yeah. So thank you, Marco Silva and the Fulham players for just absolutely throwing it away, because awful game management by them. I can see Mark's and everyone in the chat. Everyone's commenting Dave saves. I'm going to reveal my man of the match this early. De Gea was my man of the match today. I've got no agenda. When a player plays well, he played well, and he kept us in the game. He was brilliant. So, yeah, we'll start off with that. But, Ricky, we'll move on to you. I mean, I'm going to come to you straight away on it because I had to. When I was watching McTominay in that game, I was thinking, no way did this man try and say McTominay is currently better than Casemiro. Currently better than Casemiro. No way that he thought this, and I thought, he's surely not going to be able to defend his performance today.
Well, first of all, I thought he was playing all right, McTominay. There was a lot of defending to do. He won a lot of headers, a lot of tackles, blocks inside the box. I thought he was playing all right, considering that we were under so much pressure. But what what I wanted to start with was I did watch the show during the week with Faz and Kev on it, and I brought a little bit of something back from Spain for him, and I didn't realise you was in on the act as well, Beth. So for you and Faz, there's a couple of things there for cleaning your ears out.
I was thinking, how's that going there?
He brought some props.
Never did I say that McTominay is a better player.
You said currently.
I didn't even say that. I said on that day he played well enough in that half that I don't think it would have mattered if Casemiro, if it had been the other way round, we were under pressure with 10 men.
They're trying to misquote you.
They did misquote me big time, yeah.
No, Ricky,
but it wasn't Beth who said it was Kevin and Faz who both said, how can this man say, never mind currently, they both said, how can this man say that McTominay is a better player than Casemiro? I've never said that. What I did say was, we won't miss him as much as you think. To which Faz said, that's criminal. I still don't think we'll miss him as much as you think. I really don't. We've got a squad now. We've got a squad, and we're far from at full fitness with the full squad. Obviously, no Varane today. There's 2 or 3 players injured, isn't there? Casemiro's missing, obviously one of them. But if you've got a full strength team and only one player missing, we've got players that can fill in almost every role. We're a bit short up front while Martial's out. Obviously, we've got Wan-Bissaka and Dalot for right back. We've got Malacia and Shaw. I don't mind Lindelof at centre back if either Varane or Martinez. Before anybody laughs at that, we probably wouldn't have lost 7-0 at Anfield if Lindelof would have played. It's just a different game. So don't worry about the odd player being missing. If there's a few missing, that makes a difference. Now, when we're at full strength, when we're absolutely at full strength, if Eriksen's coming back, I believe, early April, isn't he? So I'll count Eriksen. I won't count Martial, he's never fit. If we've got Eriksen in midfield, if Weghorst is fit, obviously Rashford on the left, Antony, if everybody's fit, and Sabitzer will probably only be on the bench, if one player is missing, we've got cover in every position to still be decent. Now, you might say, well, we weren't decent today, but first of all, there's more than one missing. Obviously, Maguire was playing as well. There was more than one missing, which makes you a lot weaker. I think there was 3 or 4 missing. Maybe you can correct me. I think there was 3 or 4 players missing today who would normally start in his full-strength team.
I think it was. Honestly, I'm not going to lie, Ricky. I don't agree with anything you just said.
Well, was the 3 or 4 missing?
No. That's true, but the McTominay statement.
No. You're going back to a different thing. I'm talking about one player missing, and it doesn't have to be McTominay that takes his place. What I said was, we will not miss Casemiro as much as people think.
I don't agree
that
with
performance, I'm not even joking you, Ricky. I would have Bruno play CDM over McTominay. I'd have Bruno play CDM over McTominay. I'd have Lindelof play
Southampton
CDM.
played us off the field last week. We got beat 7-0 by Liverpool
They didn't
the
play
week
us off
before.
the field. They didn't play us off the
bottom
field
of the
before it
league,
was
they had the
10
best
men.
chances in the first half hour.
No. That performance today, I felt sorry for Sabitzer.
Casemiro's not as important as people make it out.
Yes.
That was the exact sentence.
I did say that.
I mean, I suppose obviously.
You also.
And then I said Fred next to him, and then he said I put my hand up.
Do you know what it is? It was. I feel like I don't know if you exactly said this, but I feel like you said you wouldn't mind whether it was Casemiro or McTominay played the next game, even if Casemiro weren't on.
If we're at full strength, I won't be against it. No, really wouldn't matter. But Casemiro is a better player. But look at this. He's missed 4 of the last 8 league games through suspension. We've took more points out of the 4 games that he didn't play in than the games that he did play in. That's a fact. That is a fact.
I mean, look.
I always say this. He could sell wool to a sheep.
He's missed 4 of our last 8 league games. We got beat the 4 that he played. We got beat 7-0 by Liverpool. Right. We've drawn 1-1 with Palace. We've drawn 0-0 with Southampton, and we beat Palace 2-1. We've taken 5 points from 7. The games that he missed, and they're just as tough. We've played Leeds twice. That's as hard as Palace twice. We've played Arsenal away. That's as hard as Liverpool away. We've taken 7 points out of the 4 games that he missed.
Right, Ricky. Although
all I'm saying is, I'm not saying that you've got better chance of winning a game with your best players playing. I just think that he's building a squad there that we've got good cover and decent cover, and it's not as imperative as an individual. 4 or 5 missing, that's different. As an individual missing, I believe we can cover it.
I just want to read out a super chat. Nashi United says, Ricky's defence of McTominay is illogical. He is awful and he was poor today. He wasn't all right. I get the area. I get the fact that he has his favourites, but McTominay was so bad. McTominay isn't one of his favourites, is he? He's not a favourite of yours. He's not one of your favourites. He's not one of your favourites. That's it's Mash.
It's Dan James, mate.
And I'm trying to read the super chats, but they keep coming off the screen because there's so many chats coming in down below. I mean, I wanted to say, I thought McTominay was at fault for the goal because, again, Blase kicked it out for a corner when we've got Mitrovic in the box when he should have just played it out. Maguire could have done that. He did that once as well, and we were lucky De Gea made a world-class save to stop it from going in. Mitrovic was all over us. I think, obviously, you missed Varane as well, massively, which was a huge thing. Varane and McTominay was a miss. But what I wanted to say, and Usman and Faz can jump in on this, the difference between Casemiro and McTominay, for me, there's so much difference. But the huge gaping problem is we cannot pass out. We can't pass without Casemiro in there because McTominay's hiding and he's just stuck next to a player, doesn't come and pick up the ball. Sabitz playing further in front and he's not a ball carrier either. You've got no one to play out from the back and transition the ball.
Right, okay, I'm going to just throw this out there right now. I'm going to upset a lot of people, this statement. But Bruno Fernandes, if I see that guy at number 10, we are not winning the league. I'm saying it right now. I don't care. You can come from the chart. If Bruno does not play in an 8 and he's played in a 10, we are not winning the league ever. I generally don't. And obviously, I know I'll be happy to take the L on this if it comes back to bite me on us, because obviously it would mean we won the league. But for me, Bruno Fernandes, when he went into the 8, we actually look like a football team. And
you guys should have won.
I'm going to give him credit.
I didn't prepare for this.
I'm going to give him credit when he was playing in the 8. Obviously, it was granted, it was against less men, but he did change the game in that sense. He was completely controlling the game, and it was the only moment in the game that we had control. I mean, it was absolutely pathetic that I'm sat in the Stretford end and we're getting dominated by Fulham at home. I know people say we won. You know, who's this guy? Why is he moaning? Let's keep it real. It's not acceptable. We're at home getting battered by Fulham. They had us pinned back for 40 minutes. I cheered a corner because it was the only time we got up the end. I mean, it was shambolic from start to finish. Listen, I can sit here and blame McTominay all day long, but the truth of the matter is I don't think McTominay is fit to wear the shirt, so I'm not even going to criticise him.
Bruno's tired.
No, I'm not hearing it. Bruno Fernandes, right? And then you can put Sabitzer in there as well. Season. I swear to, I don't know the start, but did he make a pass to one of our players in the first half? Because I swear to God he didn't. He kept passing the ball away, and Martinez as well, to be fair, was guilty of it as well. He kept trying to ping it long, and he kept overhitting it. But Bruno today was diabolical, nowhere near good enough. And like I've said, if he's playing in the 10 consistently, we are not going to be successful because he's too hot and cold. You don't know which one's going to turn up. His passing is inconsistent. His weight of pass is not consistent enough for me personally. But in terms of control, I mean, did Paulinho play? I can't even remember. But
Paulinho was unbelievable.
Yeah, he showed us how to control the midfield. He was next level.
Well, that's the type of player you want in there instead of, like, say if Casemiro's injured or out or needs a rest. Paulinho is the type of player that Man United should have.
Casemiro's not even the guy to control the midfield as well. That's not even his job. He's a destroyer. Win the ball, play to obviously Cruz. Obviously, we don't have a Cruz, but hypothetically, play to Cruz, Modric. I mean, I'm talking about two ridiculously world-class talent players here. But that is a midfield that we need to have. Casemiro's job for Real Madrid, I think people are misconstruing him, and now people are saying his pass completion is 60%, whatever it is. That's not his job. Win the ball, be in the right position, sniff danger, and pass it 5 yards. That's all he's got to be doing. But when he passes it 5 yards, it's to Bruno Fernandes, who thinks he's flipping prime David Beckham, and he's overhitting every pass. I've had enough of it. Can I just,
you're not going to like what I'm about to say here, and then I welcome to Faz. Bruno was my second choice for man of the match today.
Of diabolical opinion, thought.
He's my second choice for man of the match.
You want Mason Mount as well, by the way.
Not because of the first half. The first half, he was awful. I admit he was awful. I couldn't remember when he made a pass, and this is why De Gea got my man of the match, because De Gea obviously made some brilliant saves, kept us in it. But Bruno Fernandes in the second half stepped up. He stepped up. He was brilliant. Everything comes through him. If Bruno isn't doing it, we're nothing. If Bruno's playing well, we're playing. If Bruno's not playing, we're rubbish. He is the maestro in the midfield, and to say we couldn't win a league with him at 10, I'm sorry, is ridiculous.
It's not ridiculous.
After De Bruyne and Odegaard, he's the best midfielder in the league. Fact.
Beth, no, you've just proved my point though. You've just proved my point though. In the second half, he was good, and I've already credited that. But the reason why was he good in the second half? Because he was playing in the 8. basically
And
he's an
against 8
8.
men.
He can still.
He's not a 10 for me.
He can still. I
He's
thought
not
he
a
was
10.
good before he even went to 10 men. I still think he can play the 10. I think he's.
He's
brilliant
not a
number
10. He's too inconsistent. I think
he can.
for me, 4-3-3 would be better for United in general. But if hypothetically we were playing 4-2-3-1, I'd rather he was just playing it simple, like he does for Portugal here and there. Get the ball off Casemiro, play it 5, 6, 7 yards, keep the ball ticking. And for me personally, he was the conductor in the second half, and I'll credit him for that. But prior to that, I'm sorry, we can't have a player with Bruno Fernandes who's just constantly moving the ball. I mean, you need to sustain attacks.
Honestly, do you know what I would... Honestly, please... I don't want this to happen, but if Bruno, by the way, played more minutes than anyone in Europe, including goalkeepers this season, but if Bruno got injured somehow, which he never does because he's always available, if he did, you would honestly regret what you're saying, because without Bruno, we won't win games.
If we had a proper replacement, what you're about to say is true, but that's because the players coming in to take his spot currently are nowhere near the standard. So if Bruno hypothetically, God forbid...
That's why I want Mason Mount.
I like Sancho at 10. I think Sancho will do a good job at 10.
Not physical enough at all.
He does need to improve in that aspect, but the point I'm trying to make is, in football, if you're trying to win games, you need to control it. You need to have players that are capable of obviously retaining possession firstly, to sustain attacks. Manchester United Football Club, over the years, sustain attack, you pin the opposition back, you get the fullbacks overlapping or inverting or whatever Ten Hag wants to do. We cannot do that when we've got a midfielder in Bruno Fernandes. And listen, this isn't a dig at him in the sense that, you know, he can't contribute in other areas, but if he's playing like that today, I'm sorry, it's not good enough. And you say Mason Mount wants to come, you want Mason Mount Man United?
No, I said I would not be against us getting Mason Mount. Is Bruno is someone to come in and you know?
Mason Mount is not. Mason Mount hasn't put the shirt on, and he's already not fit to wear the shirt. He's nowhere near good enough for Man United.
I don't agree with you. I know a lot of people will agree with you. I think there's a player in Mason Mount, but I don't want to get into that conversation. What I'm telling you right now, Bruno Fernandes is the most important player at Manchester United.
At the moment, yes.
It's not a fact.
It is. Well, it's my opinion. For me, he's the most important player at Manchester United.
Midfielder, yes.
No, important player
after Casemiro.
More than Casemiro.
Important player
More
at Manchester United. That's tough. Casemiro's been unbelievable this season. Them two and Varane.
More than
and
if Bruno got injured, hypothetically, God forbid, right, and we had Casemiro, Eriksen, and Sabitzer in midfield, I reckon we'd be fine. But if Casemiro, obviously he's suspended, or Casemiro or Rashford get injured, you might as well just wrap up the season.
I just don't get the Bruno slander when he is, everything comes through Bruno. Every game, if we didn't have Bruno, we've seen what happens when the short time he's not in the team.
Yeah, because the replacements aren't good enough.
It's not a length enough time, Beth. It isn't a length enough time.
Well, I've said my piece on that.
Like you just said, he hardly misses.
We don't win the game. I mean, it's just we don't win the game today unless he steps up as well. I know it's Fulham really kind of did us a favour.
There's a hell of a lot of luck involved in football. A hell of a lot of luck. And that game today, when it switched round and Bruno went into an 8, they were still battering us. They were absolutely battering us. And what happened was because they were all over us, they were all up the field. We're at home at Old Trafford against Fulham, and we played on the break, and we got that break. And to be fair to Bruno, the ball fell to Bruno just outside our box. Anthony was free, and he managed to get the ball past Anthony Robinson to Anthony. Well done, Bruno, but I would expect any player to be able to pay that pass. Sometimes the ball just falls for you, sometimes it doesn't. Just in a moment where there's a player free there, the player happened to be free, it happened to be Bruno who got the ball, but I would have expected any player in our team to make that pass. It's an easy pass, but he did it, and credit to him for doing it. That gets Sancho away, Anthony away on the break, and then Anthony does brilliantly, drifts inside a little bit, and just plays it at the right moment that Sancho's onside. Then Sancho does brilliantly, really calm in the box. The guy next to me said, I wish he would have shot sooner. I said, I don't wish he would have shot sooner. This is before we took the pen. We've now got a pen, and they're playing with 8 men, 8 outfield players. Yeah. So what he did, that's just a stroke of luck. But Willian's hand, and then obviously it all kicks off. That's just a stroke of luck. That's what I'm talking about luck. But there's numerous bits of luck. People don't need to come in the comments and say he's not giving anyone credit. I'm giving all the players credit, but there's a little bit of luck that you're under pressure, the ball falls to one of your players who releases somebody who's then beyond their players. That's a little bit of luck. And then obviously what Sancho... Spitting everywhere. So I get frustrated trying to explain things. So then Sancho takes time and time in the box. So cool. He does brilliantly.
Thought
It was, the
Sancho was
best,
great.
it was the best possible outcome, a penalty, and then down to 9 men. So long as we scored a penalty, and again, Bruno does it, fair play, well done. And I said to the lad next to me that, you know, these are down to 9 men. He was important that. There was about, I think there was about 16 minutes left. Even though they're down to 9 men.
Well.
I said, if he doesn't score this pen, because it's 1-0 for them at that stage, if he doesn't score this pen, they could still go through.
I thought they would
could
have won
easily
this
still go through. But if he scores this pen, they're down to 9 men, it's over. So that was where the luck came in.
No, it's luck. He did great to finish it after waiting for ages. Just to finish up my point on Bruno, most assists this season, most goal contributions for Man United, just overpassed Robin van Persie and Javier Hernandez goal record. I cannot believe people give this guy stick. Yes, sometimes his passes don't come off because he's playing every minute that God sends. Yes, sometimes he doesn't have the best 20 minutes, half an hour, but he's an engine in our midfield. He gives everything for the shirt, and I know you might say sometimes the ball falls to you. It's just, maybe then it's just a coincidence that everything seems to come through Bruno Fernandes. It's just...
Do you like his dribbling?
That's something you can improve on.
Do you like his first touch?
Beth, it isn't everything.
Sometimes it's not the best, but
Do you like his long-range shooting?
There's faults. Of course, there's faults from every player.
I'm just asking.
There's faults from every player. But when you're looking at the team as a whole,
No,
he's so important.
I'm just asking.
It's like you probably have your favourite players that you like, and there'll be stuff that you don't like about them.
Sure.
There's no player is perfect at all.
Absolutely.
And I think he's underrated, and I think people are too harsh on him. His first half today was really poor. It was really poor.
So
but
was
again,
everyone else.
so was everyone else. Who's the one who steps up? It always seems to be that way. Him and Rashford for me, anyway. But anyway, there's others players that have played really well this season. But you start going into it, and let's just come back round to the conversation after that debate. I mean, I want to talk about Anthony, and I'll go to you first because, you know, we speak about Anthony quite a lot. I thought his through ball to Sancho is what changed the game. Thought he was great when he came on. Fair enough, he went down to 9 men. But we've seen Anthony a lot of times this season get that wrong. Today he got it perfect, and I thought it changed the game. What did you make of him when he came on?
Yeah, I think the managers clearly worked with his wingers. I'm very surprised to see how Jadon Sancho performed as well today. He kept his composure, didn't lose his head. He did a lot of running as well. Played a full game. Congratulations, Jadon Sancho.
That's good.
On finishing a full game.
You've been asking for it.
Yeah. Do you know how much I credit playing a full game? Finishing strong is so important. Having intensity till the 90th minute. This game could have gone to extra time as well, don't forget.
Yeah,
so you have to
long
make
night.
sure you keep that level of intensity. And our bench is thin. If Garnacho was available, I doubt if Sancho would have finished this game, because I was thinking, is Pelestri going to come on? But he didn't bring on Pelestri, did he? So he brought on Anthony instead, and he decided, he does this thing where he has hot and cold. On one side he has a player that's blisteringly fast, and one side he has a player that's not fast. He's done that before this season. So he's kept Sancho on, who's not blisteringly fast, but then he's brought in Anthony, who is blisteringly fast. And then he's tried to change it around, get a bit of fluidity in the front line, and he ended up working out because it was Sancho who got the pre-assist for Sabitzer's goal. Yeah. And that's exactly Sancho's bread and butter. He needs fullbacks who are... And you know how crazy that is? Sancho's preferred position is on the right. But he got his pre-assist from the left. Didn't get his pre-assist from the right. We need to start learning about our managers' mentality when it comes to these players. There's no preferred position. How many times, Ricky, did you see Sancho, Rashford, Bruno, Weghorst change positions in the first half? I think every 5-6 minutes they were just constantly swapping and changing. I'm thinking nobody's sticking to their position. Everybody's swapping, and that's the fluidity I think he wanted. And bringing Anthony in there, first and foremost, you've got tired legs. So he's brought that in. He's brought in the physicality as well. He's instantly started just fouling, tackling players. A few other times you saw, I felt like he had a goal and he was starting to stumble. Yeah, and he should have got that goal. But then Scott McTominay had a good chance 1v1 as well that he should have put away, and he didn't. This is in the first half. But you know, all of that aside, I think that injection of speed and intensity was what the game needed, and it could have come from Pelestri. You know, I'm not going to overly credit Anthony here, because he did, in essence, what he was supposed to do, is find acute passes into the players, and whilst he has that sharpness when the fullbacks and the centre-backs are tired, that's when you need to be getting your passes right in those moments. So that's what he did. And he's been a knockout game player, hasn't he? All of the knockout competitions, he's been the player getting us results. So yeah, good on him.
Yeah, I'm happy for him. I thought that completely changed the game. been critical of Anthony, but today he came on and did exactly what you need to do. That's what you need from your wingers. And we've just got Kev in the chat, Man United at Van Camp. Kev has just said hi to everyone, and I want to give a shout out to Kev's son, actually, Georgie. It's his 13th birthday, which is
happy birthday.
Which is why
birthday,
Kev isn't here today.
Happy
Kev,
birthday.
You're missing out. But yeah. But have a good birthday, Georgie. But let's get on to a couple of super chats because they are flying in. LJ says, I feel we're losing the plot a bit. Harry slowed down our style of football. Fulham controlled the game. Tomine was hiding, couldn't carry the ball. When tactics changed, we saw a better side to this team. And then Try Hard Tammy says, I don't know. One second, if I can read that out. Bruno played better at 8 and then 10 because we didn't have Casemiro. No one was progressing the ball from midfield.
Exactly.
Interesting.
Can I come in on that?
Go on.
I don't remember how long it was before we got that goal after Bruno dropped in to number 8. I don't think it was very long. I think he might have been there.
I think it was like 2 minutes or something.
Something like that.
I'll have a look.
I don't think the game had changed. The reason we scored on the break was because they were literally battering us. The game hadn't changed, and we got a goal on the break. You can get, when I say a goal, we got the pen. You get a goal on the break. That can happen no matter who's playing for you, no matter who. It's just football. That's football. You know, you've got a speedy winger, you've got a player who the ball comes to, he plays it through. So people saying about any of the players, by the way, that they played well after we scored or after we equalised, we're playing against 9 men after that. Goals change games, especially when it comes to 2 red cards at the same time. So there's no... Look, you've got to give... Look, there's no point not giving the players any credit, but nobody deserves any special credit for how we played today.
Yeah, I
nobody.
Totally.
You know, a certain thing happened in the game. I mentioned this in the Barcelona game when we equalised. When we equalised against Barcelona, and I checked that, by the way, I meant to mention this on another show. I said, I don't think we had started playing well. Well, we scored 90 seconds in. Everybody thought we played great in the second half against Barcelona. We scored 90 seconds into the game, so it's easy to watch. Watch it back fast. We did not play well for that 90 seconds, but suddenly we got a goal out of nowhere. It's just changes games, and then the crowd are up, we're bustling, then we did play better. So today, that happened, and at the same time, we got that goal out of nothing.
And they
got 2 red cards. Nobody deserves any credit whatsoever apart from that little move for that first goal.
And we can't. The thing is, though, you know, as nice as it is, as on a positive that we are that we're going to Wembley, games like this isn't sustainable.
No,
it isn't. Yeah. You know, as you know, we've had red card and we've had to see a game through, right? And we've said how hard it is to have 10 men on the field, and they've had 9 men. They kind of self-destructed, didn't they? They kind of caved in. But you're 100% right. If if Anthony fake shot the keeper and tried to place it, and like it wasn't a handball, their crowd would have absolutely crucified Anthony today. Absolutely. They would have crucified, because Jadon Sancho was gaping, nobody in the net, just left-footed. But are we going to ask the question that if Jadon Sancho has a left foot? We're very lucky today that the player decided to handball it rather than use his thigh or his ribs or something to block the ball, and someone clear it out. We are very lucky, because that red card, that handball, started the downfall and
which
the
leads to the second red card.
Which leads to the second and the third, and you know, everything went upside down. But if that player did not handball that ball that time, I wonder how the crowd would react to Jadon Sancho's left foot. We will never know.
The way that game was playing out and the way Fulham played it, look, it's difficult in hindsight, of course it is, but they were easily the better side. Had Sancho actually scored and made it 1-1, the game would have continued 11 against 11.
And it would have possibly gone extra time.
I wouldn't have fancied us too much still, I really wouldn't.
Fulham's every cross, every set piece, every corner kick was accurate. Every time the ball was in the air, it looked like it was possibly going to go in. We cleared the ball a good few times.
Not every set piece was accurate.
Listen, probably out of 10 corners or whatever it is, 10 overall aerial ball, probably 7 of them were accurate.
The reason is because they had more set pieces than us, because they were all over us.
But still, you have to understand, they had more crosses, but how many times did the crosses were successful? How many times did the crosses go into dangerous areas? How many of our crosses, if you put in the same over the last few games, get overhit, get underhit, corner kicks are too short?
You also, I've got to come in on this. They've got Mitrovic in the box, who's a massive threat.
We've got
Riyad Weghorst in the box, who is the threat of
So
1% threat.
I'm glad you said it and not me, because if I say it, these lot will get on top of me. I'm glad you said it. Mitrovic is an absolute animal.
Yeah.
He's a beast.
He was fantastic,
and the Glazers, I have to say this, the Glazers got us the worst stopgap striker signing in the history of Man United.
Bit far.
In the history of Man
I think
United,
he's right.
who scored 2 goals, and both of his goals were from slide tackles. The guy can't score, stood on his feet. He can't. You lot deserve better. You do. The guy passed it with his left foot to the keeper today.
That shot was awful.
He passed it, Ricky. You and I could have done a better job.
Not now, I couldn't.
You
When
could.
I was 30,
You've played 6,000 games in your life.
Yeah, but at least it was a successful pass in the final third.
Listen, who was it that crossed the ball and he stretched trying to get to it? He's 6'6", 6'7". He could
Sometimes
restrict
the
himself.
ball's out of your reach, Faz. It doesn't matter
Rick,
how tall you are.
Rick.
I'm sorry.
It's true, isn't it?
I'm sorry. That shot
Cavani
that he
gets
had,
that,
and that shot there.
Yeah,
If
anticipated.
that's
You've seen
anyone
similar
else,
goals.
if that's
Cavani
anyone
scores
else, that
that.
shot, I'm thinking. I thought he's got to score this. It was the worst shot I've ever seen.
I cannot just accept basic mediocrity and say, well done, yeah. I can't. It's not fair on me.
When you look at teams around us as well, and I know it's unfair to compare to lots of Weghorst to Haaland, but you just look at what we're dealing with. You look at what we're dealing with, though. I'm being serious. And I tried saying this to you on a show in the past. A world-class number 9 is so important to your team. And it's not Weghorst's fault, he's just not good enough, and he's been forced into playing
I'm
every
thinking it's
single
Ten
game.
Hag's fault, you know.
Well, he had to get someone.
Yeah, he had to get someone.
No, because of that. Sorry, just to interrupt you. Obviously, you said regarding the Weghorst stuff. I completely agree. I think you're spot on. But why is Ten Hag starting him? I mean, by now, I'm sorry. I know people are going to say, well, we haven't got another option. We've got Rashford, play him in number 9, play Antony on the right, play Sancho on the left. That's what I want to see in our next game. If Martial's not available, Ricky's shaking his head, which is fine. For me, I don't care. I do not want to see Weghorst starting a bit, playing with 10 men. The guy doesn't offer anything. Like you said, he's 6'6". He's got no threat in the box whatsoever. I mean, Jamie Carragher's got more threat in the box because he scored. At least he actually flipping scores. Like, I mean, Weghorst offers nothing.
Nothing. A good
Absolutely
touch.
nothing.
Listen, a good touch and a
he
good
has,
pass.
He,
He
has,
runs.
he has a few nice touches into players, that's it.
But that's what
Gallo was better than Weghorst.
Okay,
I said
hold
it
on.
and I got
Let's go
caught.
with this.
I stick by it.
he has a
I
good
like
touch.
Gallo.
He was better than Weghorst.
He has a good touch.
Nothing against him.
He's a good touch and a good pass. You're a professional player, mate. Playing in Premier League.
He's been playing
That's
since
a
he's
basic.
5. I would expect that.
That's basic to qualify for a footballer. Good touch and good pass. Wow, now you deserve to play for Man
He
United.
deserves to be on the bench.
Oh, man.
I've got a super chat in from International 2675 saying Sancho finds pockets and plays into space like no one. I thought Sancho
Agreed.
actually played really well, and I saw a few people
Sancho
say
was
they
my
didn't.
man of the match.
Do you know what? I thought he played really well, and I thought
he
he's
wins the
played
game.
especially well. Obviously, when they go to 9 men, everyone's going to play better then.
Of course.
But then, suddenly, Shaw and Wan-Bissaka actually start overlapping. Finally, they're allowed to overlap. Why aren't we doing this beforehand? The wingers, people criticise the wingers. It's really hard as a winger to play against, a very decent Fulham defence when you've got no one surrounding you helping you. Like, a full-back overlapping is so important to wingers like Sancho and to like Antony. And when Wan-Bissaka and Shaw were doing it, guess what? They're playing well. I know it's against 9 men, but still, it's still kind of.
But
the same
Wan-Bissaka
thing.
as well.
Can I explain something about that, Beth?
Go on.
Come in.
Go on, come in.
We're under pressure that much in that game for such lengthy periods that your full-backs are back in line with your centre-backs. And regularly, they're having to look up and hit a ball to a forward. When a full-back hits a ball to a forward, the chances of ending up with an overlap are pretty slim. The way you end up with overlaps is when you play better, which is what you're talking about, holding the ball better,
Sustain attacks.
playing the ball, sustain attacks, and then gets, like, if you look at the overlap that led to the goal, Beth, think about this, think about it deeply, right? Right, Sancho is within 10 yards of their dead ball line, or 12 yards of their dead ball line, with the ball at his feet, and we've got all our players up the field. Shaw makes the overlap, we get the goal. That can't happen if Shaw's hitting a ball to him 40 yards up the field and then he's getting the ball under control. When you're defending a lot, getting the overlaps is extremely difficult. If you look at Liverpool for the last few years, I know they're not so clever this year, but everyone's been banging on about Trent Alexander's assists, Robertson's assists. If you look back at any of those, you'll find that all the team are in their half. And then they run past the winger and the winger lays it in and they're in behind. So getting on to the overlap when you're defending a lot is a really difficult thing.
I'm not blaming Shaw or Wan-Bissaka for this. I'm blaming the way we played. And guess what? If we could pass the ball actually more than a couple passes through midfield without it breaking down through, the midfield was really poor in the first half, and we couldn't get it through the midfield because we didn't have a midfielder that can do what Casemiro does and bring it out and pass it out from the back. Therefore, you can't move up the pitch. You also have Wan-Bissaka holding Maguire's hand all game because he's got no pace. It's just, it's because you're not at a full strength side, but you do, people criticise the attackers, but like you said, I agree with you, if you're not sustaining attacks, then you can't overlap. When we get down to 9 men, you do overlap, and guess what? The attackers finally get some help. So it's all about different areas of the pitch, in my personal opinion. But let's get on to a positive note. Sabitzer's first goal for Man United, a player I really like. Faz, thoughts?
Very good game today. Did really well. I think as much as we miss Casemiro, I see that kind of DNA in him where he's constantly, following his man. He's very physical. He didn't, the goal came so late on in the game, but that's because we're down. They're down to 9 men. Let's be honest, and they've literally just started crumbling. But throughout the game, it almost seemed that him and McTominay didn't know where each other are. I've noticed that throughout the game. Normally you'd see Casemiro and Fred, they're kind of aware positionally where each other are and where they need to be to cover each other. Whereas I was noticing McTominay just being next to one guy, whereas Sabitzer being a bit in front of him and constantly having to look back, and he's just constantly looking back, making sure where McTominay is to make sure he's in the right position as well. It's their first game together, so they're gonna need time to kind of understand and learn about each other. But I think Sabitzer showed the reason why he should stay in Manchester United and why we should sign him. He's such a polished overall player. You don't really need to do much with him. He's already good at tackling. He's already good at passing. He's already really good press resistance as well. He made the keeper work with a fantastic shot in the first half as well. I'd love to see him take more shots on goal from long distance. But yeah, I'm overall pleased with him. A top performance today. I really like him. I want to sign him, definitely. I think he's a great squad player to have as well, and potentially even first team player. I think he's very good at the moment, just at the moment squad. But I think he's great. I really want to see him more games next to Casemiro. I think he'd really flourish in that role. But Osman, I want to bring to you because I was just kind of watching a little bit of Mark's stream before I came onto this one, and he said he thinks maybe Fred had a knock, which is why he didn't start, because he can't understand why he wouldn't, have started Fred. Do you think we missed Fred today? Some people said they think we did. I mean, regardless of whether it was a knock or not, I would imagine from a tactical standpoint, he started McTominay because he wanted McTominay in front of Mitrovic with Maguire behind him. Fred would have not made sense. I mean, there's a lot of people talking about why is Lindelof starting. Maguire started to match Mitrovic. McTominay, for me, started to sit in front of Mitrovic and hopefully help the defence. Of course, he didn't do that, which doesn't surprise me at all. So
was we 6-0 down or something at one point?
I mean, it may as well have been the way we get battered, Ricky. But look, at the end of the day, apples and oranges, really, and I don't rate either of them personally. I think Fred is probably better in terms of form as it currently stands, but for me personally, we need to replace both. But yeah, regarding Fred, if he started, I don't think he would have made that much of an impact, if I'm being honest. I don't think he had a knock. I think it was tactical, like you said, to deal with Mitrovic, and so Maguire was used tactically to deal with Mitrovic. Did he? I think he won. Mitrovic won the headers every time, apart from I think it was twice. I was like, what is going on here? But you say that. Look, I don't rate Maguire at all. And if anyone knows me, it's the opposite. But what would a Lindelof done? Let's be real. I think. I think people are getting onto Maguire. Main strength is his aerial. No, I'm not defending Maguire, but what I'm saying is he probably did a better job than Lindelof. No, absolutely not. I think Lindelof would have got bullied even more. Absolutely not. No, I don't. Absolutely not. Listen. He was holding on to Mitrovic's boot. Yeah, he was on the floor. He was. Mitrovic was dragging him. He's holding on to. I mean, he got bullied. He got bullied. He's begging for his life, holding on to the guy's boot. Listen, he wanted his shirt, man. No, I don't understand. So you think Lindelof would not have got bullied as well? Lindelof's ball IQ is way better than Maguire's ball IQ. But he would have got bullied as well? No. Maguire, I don't absolutely. He's just pulling on Mitrovic's shirt and collapsing. He's 6 foot something, 6 foot odd. He's holding on to Mitrovic's shirt and falling on the floor. Lindelof's not strong enough. That's not how you defend. Despite the amount of luck we had
we've got away with it in the end.
We
We've
did,
won 3-1.
Basically, yeah.
So
Yeah, but okay.
although I said a bit earlier that none of the players deserve any credit or much credit,
Yeah.
at least they deserve a little bit of credit for getting through in the end.
Yeah,
You
I
know
mean,
what
the little bit of credit is when in second half, when Maguire had the ball, he's looking at Ten Hag saying, what do I do next, sir? What do I... And you heard it. You were in the stadium. You heard the crowd saying, this way. And Maguire's like, all right, okay. You heard it.
The crowd were proper on Maguire's
That's
back
our
when he had the
captain, by the
ball,
way,
wasn't
Faz.
it? Wow.
That's our captain.
Don't matter, mate. You play for Man. I'm the captain. I support Man United. I'm the fan. I have my
Listen, just to
opinion.
clarify, I'm not defending Maguire, but I'm just saying Lindelof for me would have got bullied as well. It don't make a difference.
No, I think a lot of people, it's easy enough to say, you know, oh, Lindelof would have been done better. We don't know at the end of the day because he didn't play. We don't know if he would have done better.
In all fairness, he made some good clearances with his head. You know, let's be
Oh,
honest.
it's too late for that now.
Good headed clearance. I have to give him that.
I have to say,
doesn't
Maguire, every time I watch him play, I'm ridiculously nervous seeing him on the ball. Whenever he dives in, I think he's going to get turned and span. Usually does happen. He's not a good enough defender to play for Man United. Today, would I have liked him to win more aerial battles, considered that's his main, that's his trademark. I win balls in the air is what Maguire's trademark is. Would I like to see he did that? Yeah, I would. Did he make some good clearances after the goal was scored? And I think he woke up a bit and realised, look, I need to be, you know, in the box challenge for these. Yeah, he did make some good clearances. There was one where it was like, I just cleared it from the post.
Yeah.
He did, but again, I'm clutching at straws to try and give some credit here. Do you know what I mean? I'm trying to give credit, and I don't want to get into it, but I mean, there was times
Martin
as well
saved
where
him.
they had set pieces and no one's organising the defence to get up the pitch. It's looking around like this, organise your defence, you're the captain. And it's like a broken record. No matter what I say, nothing's going to change. At the end of the day, this time next year, I doubt for his own career if he's here anymore. But you know what? We got through, and it is what it is. Again, it's hard when, you know, sometimes you just got to sit back and say, not good enough. It's not their fault.
No.
Just not good enough. But Ricky, I'll bring you in on this. Did you think we missed Fred?
Mr. Fred, that's a tough one, isn't it? Probably not, no. I was just interested in hearing what you're saying there about him, McTominay actually getting the nod. If you think about it, last week against Southampton, both McTominay and Fred were on the bench, and when Casemiro got sent off, he brought McTominay on. And I don't care what anyone says, McTominay played a good game for us against Southampton, 10 men. You know,
Oh, he was good in that game.
He was good in
Credit.
that
He was
game,
good in
yeah.
that game. Credit, he was.
So that was, you know, that was the manager's choice that day. McTominay ahead of Fred, and it was McTominay ahead of Fred again today. I think you know of old that that'd be my choice. I prefer a bit more strength and a bit more height. And despite what I mean, I know McTominay today, he cleared one that went behind for a corner. He should have done better, and they happened to score from that corner. I've already spoken about our luck going our way with the goal that we scored and what happened. Sometimes luck goes against you. And that if some, you know, they probably had, I don't know how many corners, you can probably find out. Won't surprise me if they had 15 corners today and they happened to score from that one. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah,
So everybody's like that.
It's a bit of luck, isn't it?
Do you know what I mean?
I'm
It's just
not
a bit
even
of luck.
joking. When I saw that, I thought,
Oh, it was poor.
I pull that up.
As soon as he did it, I thought, I hope he don't score from this. I know what's happening, do you know what I mean? But that's the look of the game, isn't it? That's how it goes. But McTominay made a lot of important headed clearances and made a lot of important challenges. And maybe if Fred would have played, he's not quite as big, he's not quite as physical, maybe we would have been a couple of goals down earlier, maybe we would have lost. We don't know. But my opinion is we're better with McTominay. And it appears to be the thought of the manager at the minute, which is a strange one when Fred was a regular starter.
I think it's situational.
It's different positions and tactically.
It just depends on the game. Like I said, for me, Fred's been in way better form. I don't even think it's a conversation who's been the better player this season. Yeah. But in terms of this game, as I mentioned, I would think that Ten Hag's logic was put him in front of Mitrovic with hopefully Maguire behind him and sandwich him. Yeah. Obviously, that didn't really work, but I would. It was just for physical to deal with Mitrovic. There was no other reason for it.
It did work to a certain extent. It doesn't win every. You see, when you're playing football, you want to win every ball, and when you're a fan and you're watching the game, you want to win every ball. McTominay nicks it off Mitrovic's turned and nicks it off Mitrovic's toes a couple of times.
Yeah, there was.
He won a couple of headers. So as much as you think it didn't work, we've ended up winning the game. So it worked enough. If you
we didn't win the game because of that.
We didn't. But what we'll never know is if he didn't nick them 2 or 3 balls, maybe they'd have scored.
You're clutching at straws.
We are clutching at straws. I'm not going to praise him that much.
You put somebody in to do a job, and then if you win the game, you are sort of
vindicated. Not in this case.
The only reason McTominay played today and in the Southampton game is because Ten Hag, and neither do I, sees Fred as a holding midfielder, whereas he sees McTominay as a holding midfielder. He can do that job, and he's tall and he's physical. Fred in there, you know, against Mitrovic, he's got no chance against him, which is why he didn't start. And obviously he preferred I think it's between Sabitzer and Fred today.
I agree, yeah.
It was Sabitzer playing instead of Fred, not McTominay, because we have no one else. What I'm trying to say is, we just don't have anyone else, but that standard still isn't good enough for games like this. When you know what, if Casemiro, you know, next season, this could be Champions League games that Casemiro's out for. You need someone who can play there. That is of a good standard. The chat's talking about Polina. Polina would be unbelievable. I think he's actually too good to maybe has to be the backup.
Yeah. Do you think if we're playing against Real Madrid at the Bernabeu that you'd be confident with McTominay and Fred?
It's not a question.
This is a Ricky. Ricky,
go on. But there you go. That's what I'm trying to get at. I mean, we need to up. I think we need 3 midfielders. Fred for me, maybe squad player. McTominay, pack his bags. I mean, if he wants to be the water boy, I wouldn't accept it. I mean, just get rid of him. He's not good enough. You mentioned Sabitzer. That's 1. Bring in another 2, and then jobs are good and Van de Beek out because obviously.
Can we talk about Willian? Wow. This guy
looks a great player, doesn't he?
What a fantastic player. He terrorised us all game today. Yards behind fullbacks, and he's blistering past them and winning the ball constantly. A part of their attack. Had a fantastic shot that nearly went in as well. Yeah. This guy, I mean, Fulham, you have to give them credit. If they kept their composure and didn't end up getting, you know, the red cards and whatever, it would have been a very tough game. And I remember, Beth, talking to you in the Friday show saying Fulham's going to be such a great game, how Marco Silva's built this, you know, character in them. And the chat and the comment section was saying, oh, you know, what is this guy saying? Is Fulham, we'll batter them and this, that. This is what happens. And I've learned it from the Godfather himself when he told me about Liverpool and I was being giddy FC. And look what happened to me. So I've calmed down now.
Humbled.
We've got Brighton.
You've got a bit giddy about Sevilla though, didn't you?
I said we beat Barcelona, so Sevilla is a piece of cake. But we got to Brighton, and again, a very, very solid team, isn't it, to beat? With Caicedo in there and Evan in there as well.
McAllister's balling as well.
I've got to say, it's absolutely typical. And it could have been worse. We could have got City. That was the worst one we could have got. But it's so typical that City gets Sheffield United and we end up with Brighton. It's just...
Listen, that's my hometown, but they're going to do a job, man. They're going to do me proud.
What would I give?
I just can't even fathom that happening, if I'm being honest with you. But, you know, you never know in football. Asim Safaya says, oh, by the way, Willian, class player. I remember when he was at Chelsea and how well wanted us to sign him.
What happened to him at Arsenal?
Oh, he didn't kind of take it Arsenal, did he? But technically, the guy is insane.
That save De Gea made off him.
And also Andreas. I mean, difficult conversation here about Andreas.
Can I just say, I said on this panel, when was it? I think start of the season, I said, who would you rather have at United, Pereira or Van der Beek? Because personally, I'd probably rather have Pereira. People went nuts.
Nuts, yeah.
By the way, I don't think they're both not good enough, in my opinion. I feel sorry for Donny. You've not really seen much of him. Obviously, his injury. I was a massive Donny advocate for a while. But...
Proof is in the pudding.
As a squad player,
I don't know. Pudding,
anyway, Asim Safaya says, folks, if you can get one player in next season, who would that be?
Does it have to be realistic?
Yeah.
Victor Osimhen, isn't it?
I know who I'd want, but obviously it will never happen. I'd want Thiago Alcantara. Obviously that would never happen. Everyone, you making faces like that, but like for me personally, in terms of his quality on the ball, he's world class.
Lord have mercy on me. Lord have mercy.
Obviously that's never going to happen. Obviously he's at Liverpool, but for me, like, have you ever watched him play?
I have watched him play, and he
decides to play.
He was a brilliant player. He still is a brilliant player.
Don't say injuries, please. He still
is a brilliant player, but we need to be moving on to the future, is what I would say.
I mean, for me personally, that's the kind of player that we need, a player that can conduct from deep. I mean, Eriksen's been that person this season, but obviously he's got his issues as well. But the point I'm trying to make is when you actually watch Thiago play and the way he controls the tempo of the game, they're the kind of footballers that you need at Manchester United.
You know what? I'll tell you who Ricky would want. It's between one of the. I already know which one Ricky would want. I study Ricky.
Go on.
You know, I've been watching Ricky a lot. Either Mitoma or the midfielder from Napoli. Either one of them. Am I right?
Yeah, Mitoma.
There you go.
What a player.
Yeah, I knew it.
Player.
I thought we were on about centre mids, my
Who's
bad.
his
We were
class?
on about
We were
wingers.
talking about
By the way, I
Oh,
think
in
this is
general.
one of the things I do
I'm
massively
sticking to
agree
my
with
opinion.
Ricky on. Mitoma is really good.
I tweeted about him in September. I'm just saying before everyone jumps on bandwagon. He's an absolute baller. But I think the
What about you?
players better.
Tough. I think we need a couple of players. I'd probably go. It depends the way we're going to play with our wingers, to be honest with you. If we're actually going to start getting crosses into the box and overlapping, Osimhen.
I'm surprised
sure.
you didn't say Costa or Raya.
Nah, he's not. I know. I do think about. Well, I'll be honest. I thought De Gea was brilliant today, but would want a new keeper to come in. Everyone knows that. But I'm not completely stupid. Like, we need a striker. That is the immediate thing. We need a midfielder as well. I think it goes striker, midfielder, goalkeeper. For me, in terms of what we need in the conversation. But I mean, when it's Man United, you expect to be looking at multiple different positions in the summer. So no, it would be Osimhen for me, definitely. But it just depends, because in that side, if Rashford is always cutting in from the left and shooting, Anthony's cutting in from the right and shooting, how's Osimhen getting a chance? You know what I mean? That's what I start to think about. But then I think you do have Bruno. Anyway, I'm going off on a tangent here, but I mean, yeah. Let's get on to the next bit of play, and I wanted to actually speak about lastly, which is David De Gea. I mean, we've criticised him, Faz.
Whoa.
You criticised
Whoa.
Excuse
Time
me.
out. Time out here. Whoa.
Excuse me.
I don't
Let's
consent.
rewind the
I
clip.
don't
Let's
consent.
rewind the clip.
Whoa. Someone swap seat with me. This is it.
Let's rewind the clip. We did a show on Friday.
Wait, why are you dragging me into this?
We did a show on Friday, and you said, Beth, I think we need another goalkeeper. Did you or did you not?
Did you say that? Did you say
He
that?
said it. He said it.
Someone play the clip.
I did. Okay, I did. But what I said is, I also said, don't clip me. I don't consent. I said, I want another goalkeeper to come in and learn from David next season. I still want David De Gea to be here next season.
You did say that.
Yeah. I'd said David De Gea should stay next season.
You
but
said
I want
another.
Yeah, I
a lot of other words as well.
I don't think that was what you said,
I
Baz.
said future. We have to think for the future. We must think for the future. And if there's a keeper available, for a decent price that we can get, and if Qatar come in as well, we have that injection of funds, then yeah, of course, we need to buy a keeper for the future. Can David De Gea play for another 4 or 5 seasons? Come on. Let's be logical here.
Being honest, it's like you don't just flip-flop your opinion from one game to one game. De Gea had a brilliant game today. He kept us in it. But then also you look at the Betis game and there's different factors in this conversation.
Can I just throw? I'm sorry. De Gea's shot stopping, world class.
Brilliant.
Arguably one of the best in the world. However, I'm just going to throw this out here right now. If PHX, I know this is a random statement, but if PHX in our net hypothetically today, he comes and claims half those crosses, Mitrovic, people aren't even talking about him. Because the amount of times that De Gea is allowing Mitrovic to have a run on our players, and I understand some cases, there's going to be a lot of cases where he can't do anything about it. But a proper keeper that comes and collects the ball, the reason I mentioned Czech is because he was phenomenal at it, comes and takes the pressure off the defence. De Gea never does it. I'm sorry. World-class shot stopping, and I will always say that his distribution, I think everyone knows that, we don't even have to get into that. But he's got to command his box. At least do that, my guy. Like, he doesn't command his box. Mitrovic is sensational in the air. It's gonna be a long day for the centre-backs. Even he comes out once or twice, punches the ball, put some doubt in Mitrovic's head. Is De Gea going to come? I don't know if he's going to come this time. Mitrovic knows De Gea is never going to come. He knows he's got to run on the centre-backs every single time. De Gea's got to at least try and help the defender that once, twice in the game. I'm not saying every single time, because obviously sometimes you can't obviously win the ball, but for me personally, he's got to help the defence out, man. You know what you're up against today.
Imagine if he came out the box and tried to clear a cross and ended up the ball going in.
I mean, that's obviously something that could happen, but I'm sorry.
Ramsdale's been in that situation.
I'm sorry.
I did notice
I'm not-
Mitrovic a couple of times,
I'm
not
not
on all
asking
of
for a
them, but
lot.
a couple of times was actually, when they crowd the keeper, he was on De Gea, like he was bullying him a little bit. And I think, obviously, that it's not his biggest strength. I do think the set pieces they did were actually really good set pieces today. I wasn't watching that closely, so I can't really comment on that. It's not something I picked up, but it's an interesting take.
His handling is actually really, the thing that annoys me, his handling is actually fantastic. If you look at him in terms of his ability to catch the ball, etc., his handling is brilliant. So I just don't understand why he doesn't back himself. Like, it doesn't make sense to me. I would actually trust him to come out at least about 7 out of 10 times, actually get something onto it. He's good enough.
This is what I mean. When people criticise me and say, Beth, it's only you're only bothered about distribution. There's other factors. There's coming off your line. There's collecting crosses, and there's all of the things. Shot stopping, absolutely unreal.
He's world-class shot stopping.
Absolutely unreal. I have to say.
And today he was as well.
But when you look at this game, just in this game, I have to say, I personally need to watch that back. I don't think he did anything wrong today. I have to say. I'm going to be honest. Like I don't think he did. I thought he was brilliant.
I'm not saying he did anything wrong, but
when it went to Martinez, you remember when it went to Martinez and he kind of flicked it back out to Martinez, I was there like, no. Yeah. And he actually handled it well. So, I mean, I'm still on, at the moment, my mind hasn't changed. Obviously, I would want a new keeper to come in and, like, maybe evolve and get themselves into this team. But today, I have to say, I mean, I'll go first. He was my man of the match. I mean, Faz, will come to you. Who's your man of the match?
David De Gea is a fantastic shout, in all honesty. But I think Lisandro Martinez, yet again, the challenges that he made today was fantastic. And one of the challenges he made today, and the first thing that came to mind is Ricky saying, throw the ball. 25%, 50%, 6,000 games, 1,000 slide tackles through the ball, because he was making the tackles perfect.
Yeah, he was brilliant.
Obviously, no cards or nothing, and it shows how much calmness he brings to the backline, having a player like that as well. One of the things I picked up is Harry Maguire not commanding his defensive backline, and I saw Martinez doing that instead, asking his players, getting everyone together, and I was like, that's fascinating. I mean, the future captain of Manchester United, possibly, right? And one thing you have to say, give him credit for is no matter who the opposition is, no matter how they play, whatever it is, he doesn't let anybody get the better of him. If they do him once, that's it. After that, you're not going. It's not happening. You're not going past.
That slide tackle at the end of the game when he clattered the play and got the ball was beautiful.
And for the price that we paid for him, there was a lot of criticism saying we overpaid and this, that, the other. We're very lucky we actually got him for 57 million because, there are other centre-backs out there who people are buying for 80 million, 90 million, 100 million.
Well, us as well.
Yeah. So we're very lucky. We're very lucky. So mine is Lisandro Martinez. But of course, David De Gea saved us today. Saved us yet again.
Yeah, I mean, De Gea is the obvious one. But listen, everyone's going to say, well, you've just said that. Listen, I'm not saying I just feel like, for me personally, his psychology going into the game should have been, we're up against Mitrovic today. Okay, it's not normally something I do, but let me try to come out 2-3 times, help the defence.
You're allowed to have the opinion, of course.
No, I don't care what they can say what they want, that's fine. But I'm not actually going to give it to De Gea, because obviously I think everyone's going to say De Gea. I'm actually going to give it Sancho, which is probably going to throw everyone off. The reason I'm going to give it him is because the two moments that won is the game, Sancho was the person that won it. Got the red card. Obviously, granted, people say he could shot with the left foot, whatever, but I've already explained. The composure for me was something that I wasn't expecting. I thought he was going to Bartley when he went around the keeper, if I'm being quite honest with you. Could have shot with the left foot, it might have went in, we don't know. But he got the red card, got the penalty. Sancho was the reason we won the game, because at the end of the day, if that passage of play alongside Anthony doesn't happen, we don't win this game. If that player doesn't get sent off, even at 1-1, I still think they probably would have done us. But the second goal, was this Sabitzer's goal, Sancho's pre-assist, that made the goal. Completely took out the entire back line. Shaw as well, credit to him, got his head up, picked out the right pass, but Sancho's pass, the composure, again, a player who's not particularly in form, those two moments won us the game. Obviously, Bruno getting the third goal, fair play to him. But look, for me, obviously people are going to say that's deluded, that's completely fine, but football's, moments.
I thought Sancho was good today.
No, I did. I thought he was one of the only people that actually couldn't retain the ball. But the two moments that decided the game, he was the main catalyst. So yeah, for me, Sancho.
Mm-hmm.
Difficult to disagree with any of your shouts. I agree with
Can I have a guess?
with a lot of things. I think Martinez. I disagree a little bit with Martinez more than the other two. I thought his passing was off a little bit today. I also thought he got bullied a little bit at times. There was an incident in the first half when he got put to the floor. He got put to the floor too easy, and they got in the box, and it got and I think the cross got cut out by Scott McTominay at the near post. Yeah. But that's another story. I'm going to go Sabitzer.
Woo! Ooh, I did not expect that. I was honestly, I was
knew
expecting
you were
Luke
gonna say
Shaw to leave them lips, honestly. It's
That
always
assist.
Luke Shaw.
Suddenly, from saying how bad we were, we got loads of players who all played great.
Luke Shaw did great as well today. I would have taken that. Yeah.
Can I just ask you, you didn't really talk about Sabitzer much then. So you're a big fan of Sabitzer then? Do you think he played well?
I'm liking what I'm seeing, yeah. Obviously, we've not seen a lot of him, but I thought he played a pretty good game today, yeah. I don't mind giving him man of the match as well.
Would you think about signing him on in the summer?
Yeah, absolutely.
Interesting stuff. And lastly, I think the hour is up now, but I just wanted to say, international break now, guys.
Thank God.
First game back, Newcastle, St James's Park. Confident?
No.
Faz, you want to go first?
I think we'll get beat, but I also think we'd get beat if Casemiro was playing.
Can we end the show on that?
He absolutely loves it.
No, really do. I mean, these are absolutely, you know, they're on fire at St James's Park.
You do know Casemiro scored against them in the final, you know that,
Yeah,
right?
I know, but St James's Park is a different kettle of fish, and scoring a goal doesn't mean you necessarily...
I know, but I mean, that game, he was man of the match. I mean, the goal aside, he absolutely destroyed them.
Yeah, it doesn't mean you're going to score a goal again. Away at St James's, if they beat us, they go above us, they're absolutely going to be bang up for it, and the stadium's going to be bouncing. If we can get something there, I'll be over the moon. And all I'm saying is it'll be a difficult job, whoever's playing for us, whoever.
Confident?
International break is going to be very important for Bruno Fernandes and Marcus Rashford, two of the players who need to get energised and come back. But then they both are, I think they're both...
Yeah, they're both called up.
Yeah, called up. So as much as it's a time of rest for us, I mean, I don't know how much rest they're going to get. Hopefully more than playing twice every week or 3 times every week. So I think coming back, we need. What I'm most worried about is as much as you're tired, you know, when you have so many games. One of the good things is you have rhythm. One of the good things is everybody's, you know, rotating. You're having rhythm. Varane is coming off. You have Maguire, you know, playing some. You have Lindelof playing some games. We miss that rhythm. And after international break, you always notice players seem a bit off.
Yeah.
The players seem a bit out of sync, and they're not really, you know, comfortable in their positions. Newcastle, on the other hand, have Isaac, a player who's been scoring every 105 minutes.
Now there's a number 9, I won't mind.
Yeah, 70 odd million they paid for him.
quality.
I had concerns over Isaac's ankles. I think he has a bit of ankle issue.
Came from Sociedad, didn't he?
But he's been after this injury is gone now, he's been really good. And Newcastle have some top players as well. And they in essence, if they can secure top 4 with the amount of money that they have spent, which is next to nothing compared to what they can spend. If they can secure top 4, push for top 4, that would be a huge success for them this season and for Eddie Howe and the ownership. So I think they're going to be really pushing for it now, considering how political this top 4 race has gone with Tottenham now, you know, going 3-3 with Southampton.
Can I just add something else about us playing Newcastle away compared to playing them at Wembley in a cup final? The player that's really important to them is Bruno Guimaraes. Very important.
Unbelievable
He's a
player.
fantastic player. Now then,
The real Bruno.
I know he came back for the cup final. But like you just mentioned the word rhythm, Faz. You just mentioned the word rhythm. He came back for the cup final. Of course, that was a bonus for them. But while he was out suspended, the form went like that. They came into that game, the team came into that game in poor form. Now, if Guimaraes wouldn't have got his suspension, they probably would have continued getting decent results. The cup final would have been a different game as well, without a doubt.
Not saying we wouldn't have
won it. Yeah, he played.
Yeah, that's what
But
he
he was in the middle.
Yeah.
But while he was missing, the form took a dip.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Then they've got to try and come out of that. Do you understand what I mean?
Can I tell you? Can I just add something to that? There's something you lot have missed. Anthony Martial's going to be back, and he's going to score the winner.
I was just about to say that.
Anthony Martial scoring the winner. Somebody clip it. We're winning 2-1. Martial scoring the winner. He's off the bench. Clip it for me.
Well, there's a few things to look forward to. First of all, Martial, I'm pretty 99% sure, unless he injures himself in training again.
He's going to be fit and he's scoring the winner.
Ready.
Well, he is fit.
Eriksen is on his way back.
Scoring the
Ten
winner.
Hag said after the international break, I actually don't think this international break could come at a
It's
more
a blessing
perfect time
for us.
Yeah.
You talk about form and rhythm. The last couple of games, we've not looked on it at all.
We look shocking.
We've really not. Varane, full rest. He's retired from the France squad. How old is he? 28, 29? He's already retired from the France squad.
Yeah, Martial,
Get
Varane,
some
they're going to
rest
be on
in.
it. You're excited, Ricky? He's back.
I am excited. Please stay fit, Anthony, and please
I'm telling you,
play
he's scoring
loads
the
of
winner.
games. But if he is fit and if he plays him, he might not throw him straight in at the start. He might put him as a sub. But if he plays him, will Weghorst play?
No, not
Absolutely
a chance.
not. We've won.
Not a chance.
If
I think he
Martial's
You
fit
think
for that
he
game, we've
will?
won.
Yeah.
Do you want to do a bet right now?
If Martial starts, I think Weghorst will start at 10, and I think Bruno will
Oh,
get shoved out to the right.
Anthony will get benched.
That's what I think- that's what I
Just
think
to
will
clarify,
happen.
if that happens, we've lost, by the way. I just want to retract my statement.
That's what I think
Now, I
will
don't
happen.
agree with that sentiment, but yeah, I think for me personally, right, look, he could get injured in 2 days' time and I'm going to look like an idiot. But for me personally, Martial, he completely transforms that front three. I know he's not been fit the entirety of the season, but we're talking about one game. The one game he should be perfectly fit for. He's had 2 weeks off. He's basically been fit this week, technically. And Ten Hag has said to him, come back after the international break. For me, if he's fit and he's available, granted Newcastle are a great team, as you said, St. James Park's can be bouncing and there's no denying that. They're a top quality team, but Martial elevates his Man United team
Big time.
to actually, like, we're competing.
I think, do you know what?
Compared to who he's coming in for as well, it's just night and day.
As
He's
well,
that good compared to him.
I completely agree with what you're saying, but I think people are starting to actually finally realise it, you know, because we've had a different player in.
But the thing is, he's going to bring the best out of Anthony, Sancho and Rashford as well. I think Anthony in particular and Sancho, they need someone to play off. I think they're really struggling, but obviously we mentioned the lack of fullback overlapping. We haven't really got a striker to pop the ball off to. With Martial, they can play the ball to him and run off him. And I think Sancho in particular would benefit with that a lot. But for me, if Martial's fit, he's starting, I'm backing my team with winning that game.
Well, he said it there. He said it now. If Martial's starting,
Said it with
we're going
chest,
to win.
2-1.
But I mean, I hope we do. I hope the international break gives us that kind of injection of energy and that we need, and we can start off with a good win at St James's Park. But it's definitely going to be tough. And at the end of the day, everyone, we're at Wembley again. Second time in the season so far. Semi-final against Brighton. I can't wait for it.
When is the semi-final?
Could be an all-Manchester final as well. Semi-final. When is it? Does anyone know?
April.
I think it's April.
It's the weekend we're supposed to play Chelsea here. That game will get moved now.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that you're right. That's
I'm not
correct,
sure,
yeah.
but anyway.
That is right. It is that weekend.
We're way past it hour now, so we'll round it up. But thank you everyone for being on the show. Faz, Usman, Ricky, no bad feelings. I love everyone here. Just a big debate there, but it was good. And thank you everyone in the chat for getting involved as well and getting your opinions across. A lot of super chats that I couldn't actually quite read out tonight because it was popping off on the panel. But thank you for everyone who put your donations in and also got your messages in as well. As always, make sure you like the video. I mean, we're going to Wembley. Why not like it if we're going to Wembley? Make sure you subscribe to the channel if you're not already. And we'll see you on the next fan forum in 2 weeks after the international break. Enjoy, everyone. See you later.